And don't let anybody tell you how your future is going to go. Are you listening to me? I just love this community. Number one, never stop learning. That we have to reprogram the way we think about reality. When I wrote You Are the Placebo, I was so angry with myself because I couldn't believe how programmed into limitation that we are. So this isn't something that you do in one bite. It takes a process. But there's a formula. We now know there's a formula. And if you follow the formula, you'll begin to make significant changes. So learn the science of transformation. Number two, make time for yourself. When you invest in yourself, you invest in your future. That means then, in the morning before you start your day, ask yourself, what is the greatest ideal of myself that I can be today? And begin to denature the programs of those thoughts. And if you don't know what those thoughts are, sit with your eyes closed. They'll come up. Write them down. The word meditation literally means to become familiar with. That's what it means. When you become so familiar with your old self, those thoughts, those behaviors, those emotions that you would never go unconscious again, now you're the governor of your thoughts. Now you're so familiar with them, you know they're not true. And nerve cells that no longer fire together no longer wire together. And it takes an act of will in the beginning. But then if you say, I'm not going to get up until I am this person, this is the work. So then you begin to construct a future. Now you're believing in your future more than you're believing in your past. You're falling in love with your future more than you're falling in love with your past. You're telling a story of your future more than you're telling the story of your past. And you say, I'm not going to get up from this meditation until I feel like it's already happened. Now is where the rubber hits the road. And when you get up in a new state of being, your job is to maintain that modified state of mind and body your entire day, independent of the people in your life, the conditions in your life, independent of what however your body feels, and independent of time. And doing that properly, all of a sudden you start showing up unpredictable in your life. People start saying, something's different about you. What's different about you? And you're just not the same person because your energy's different, your mind and body are different, and your brain and body are literally in the future instead of the past. People are doing it all over the world. The side effect is tremendous healing, new jobs, new relationships, new opportunities, mystical experiences, the stuff we deserve to have in our lives. The moment you start paying attention to how you're thinking, the moment you start thinking about what you're thinking, the moment you start observing how you're behaving, how you speak, the moment you notice, my God, I've been feeling guilt for the last 30 years. I didn't even think it was guilt. I thought it was just how I felt.
That's liberating.
The moment you do that, you're no longer the program.
Right.
You're the consciousness observing the program, and we begin to objectify the subjective self. That's who you really are when you're not immersed in that program. So the first step in really beginning to remanage your energy is to be able to observe those states of mind and body without judgment, without reaction, and sitting in the presence of that emotional state and not turning on the TV or getting in your cell phone,
right,
but sitting with it and transmuting it into something else. So then your personality creates your personal reality. And your personality is made up of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. So the present personality who's watching this show has created the present personal reality called their life, which means if you want to create a new personal reality, a new life, you have to begin to change your personality. And that means then you got to light a match in a dark place. And just because you have a thought doesn't necessarily mean it's true. So those subconscious thoughts that are happening behind the scenes of people's awareness are always saying, I can't, it's too hard, I'll never change, I'll start tomorrow, this doesn't feel right, I want to take my life, nobody loves me. They believe those thoughts, but those are just old circuits that have been stored in their brains. So then the moment they start complaining and blaming and making excuses and feeling sorry for themselves, and they all of a sudden start to see themselves through the eyes of someone else, or they discover, my God, I am so happy being unhappy, that actually I get attention for being this way. The moment they say that, you see, most people try to create a new personal reality as the same personality, and it doesn't work. You literally have to become someone else. So then the model of meditation says, okay, what thoughts do I want to fire and wire in my brain and put my attention behind? What behaviors do I want to demonstrate today? And the act of mental rehearsal, of closing your eyes and rehearsing your actions, begins to install the neurological hardware in your brain to look like the experience has already happened. Now the brain is no longer a record of the past. Now it's a map to the future. And if you keep doing it over and over again, the hardware will become a software program. And who knows, you just may start acting like a happy person. No magic there, you installed the circuitry. You may start thinking in more unlimited ways. Well, you primed your brain for that. Now here's the tough part. Can you teach your body emotionally what that future is going to feel like before the actual experience? So that doesn't mean now you're going to wait for your success to feel empowered. And you're not going to wait for your wealth to feel abundance or worthiness, or wait for your healing to feel gratitude and wholeness, or your new relationship to feel love, or the mystical experience to feel awe. That's kind of the old model of reality, of cause and effect, waiting for something outside of us to change how we feel inside of us. That's Newtonian physics. But the quantum model of reality is about causing an effect, which means the moment you start feeling abundant, you're generating wealth. The moment you start feeling empowered, you're stepping towards your success. The moment you start feeling gratitude and wholeness, your healing begins. The moment you're in awe of life, you're going to have a mystical experience. The moment you're in love with yourself, you're going to find an equal. That's causing an effect. Close your eyes, slow your breath down, place your attention in your heart. That's where your elevated emotions start. When your heart begins to open and you start to feel elevated emotions like gratitude or joy or inspiration, and you breathe and feel those emotions, the heart begins to beat in a more rhythmic fashion, and it begins to produce a very, very measurable magnetic field. That energy is a frequency, and all frequency carries information. So as you begin to elevate your emotional state, you're literally changing your physiology. When you begin to feel elevated, that energy carries a thought. So lay the intent of some experience you want to have. Now, that means then, when you combine a clear intention with an elevated emotion, you're literally changing your energetic field. When there's a vibrational match between your energy and some potential in the future, all of a sudden now you don't have to go anywhere to get anything. You start to see it come to you. So take a couple breaths, slow your breathing down, bring up an elevated emotion. If you have to do it connected to somebody or something, until you can feel it with your heart. Feel it within you and all around you, and then all of a sudden lay the intent of something you want to experience in your future and see what happens. Be the scientist and experiment with it.